All right, let's dive into something that I think we've all felt but maybe haven't put a name to. We're going to talk about that hidden drain on our emotional energy.
I mean, really think about it. You're having a perfectly normal day, everything's going fine, and then you have a short conversation, and bam, you feel like you've just run a marathon. Not physically, but you're just completely wiped out emotionally.
Or how about this one? Your energy just takes a nosedive out of nowhere. You can't quite put your finger on why, but that feeling, that sudden drop, it's definitely real.
And here's the big idea we're going to unpack today. What if certain interactions are literally siphoning something way more precious than just your time? What if they're draining your internal battery?
So let's get right into it. What exactly is this inner battery? It's really important to separate it from the kind of energy we usually talk about, physical energy. Okay, this comparison is key. Physical energy, we all get that. You run, you get tired. Super simple. But emotional energy, that's a whole different ballgame. And you got to understand this. Every single conversation, every little interaction has a direct impact on your nervous system. Some conversations recharge you, right? But the ones filled with tension, with stress, with negativity, they put your brain on high alert. And that right there is incredibly draining.
Now, the good news here is that this drain isn't just some random thing. Nope. It usually comes from some very specific, very recognizable behaviors, and once you can spot these patterns, well, that's when you can start protecting your energy.
Let's kick things off with a classic. I'm pretty sure we've all met this person. The constant complainer. It seems like no matter what you talk about, the conversation always finds its way back to a problem. And here's what's actually happening inside your head. When you're listening to all those complaints, your brain, without you even telling it to, it just automatically switches into fix-it mode. And that mode consumes a ton of mental energy. Before you know it, you've accidentally taken on the emotional responsibility for their mood. And man, that is a heavy, heavy weight to carry. Okay, on to our next archetype, the drama creator. You know who I'm talking about. These are the people who just seem to carry chaos around with them like it's a handbag. And this right here perfectly nails the internal effect. When every little molehill is turned into a mountain, into a massive crisis, your nervous system just can't relax. It gets stuck in this low-grade fight-or-flight response, always on edge, waiting for the next drama bomb to drop. And being that alert all the time, it is just deeply, deeply exhausting. This isn't just you being too sensitive. There's actually real science behind why we're so easily affected by other people's moods. It really all boils down to how our brains are wired. The big concept here is called emotional contagion. See, our brains have these things called mirror neurons, and they do exactly what they sound like. They mirror the emotions they see in others. It's an old survival tool, helped our ancestors feel danger from the tribe. But today, it means you can catch a bad mood just like you'd catch a cold.
Now, this is a huge takeaway. Being emotionally intelligent, having a high EQ, it doesn't mean you have to build a fortress around yourself and avoid everyone. No, it's about learning how to regulate, how to manage your exposure and your own inner state, even when you're around difficult people.
So how do we actually do that? Well, here's a super simple, super practical 3-step method you can use. Think of it like your personal EQ compass.
So it works like this. Step 1, just notice. That's it. Just check in with yourself. How am I feeling right now? Step 2, name it. Don't just say bad, get really specific. And step 3, navigate. This is the action part, where you decide what to do to protect your energy.
Let's zoom in on that second step for a second, because the effect is pretty amazing. Just by shifting from a vague, I feel bad, to something really specific like I feel tense or I feel mentally tired, you actually reduce the power that emotion has over you. When you can name it, you can start to tame it.
And for step 3, navigate. Here are some totally practical things you can do. And look, this isn't about being rude or mean. It's about being strategic with your own well-being. Maybe you decide to keep the conversation shorter, or you deliberately change the topic to something more positive. Or, hey, maybe you just reduce how often you interact with that person. It's all about you taking back control.
When you boil it all down, all of these steps, they really just point to one core idea: the incredible power of treating your own emotional health with respect. I really want you to let this one sink in, because it's a game changer. Setting a boundary is not an attack on someone else. It is an act of defense for you. It's you saying, you know what? My emotional well-being matters, and I am going to protect it. This is the big mindset shift right here.
Emotionally intelligent people, they're still kind, they're still good listeners, but they get the crucial difference between listening to someone's problems and completely absorbing their emotional state. They know that not every emotion they encounter is theirs to carry.
So the next time you feel that drain, that sudden drop in your energy, don't just ignore it, and definitely don't blame yourself for it. See it for what it is. It's data. It's your internal system giving you information that something's off. And the real question is, are you going to listen to it